All right, so before the next event, we got about a month to go, and I want to get the car looking nice, like one more time before I completely destroy it, because it's gotten pretty bad. And with me having to change the fenders, the bumper, they're not matching the color anymore. You know, before I tore the rocker panel up and I was able to find one the same color, put it on, you can't really tell. But now we're gonna have black fenders, black bumper. And I think it's time to get this thing wrapped. What I was originally gonna do was have just a livery put over top of the burgundy, kind of like a gray to match the wheels. And I think it would have looked okay. But I think now with us having to do the fenders and stuff, we're gonna just go ahead and change the whole color of the car. And there's a few fiberglass things I need to get repaired, and I've never done that before, so I'm gonna jump in and try that. And yeah, so I think I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take the car, go ahead and wash it, because it's pretty muddy. As always, we get mud at the track. So I'm gonna get everything cleaned up, and I'm gonna pull it back in and start tearing into this thing. We gotta get them fiberglass fenders fitted. They're kind of a horrible looking fit, so I don't think they're gonna go right on like I would hope. And I know they're gonna take some work to get like the gaps and stuff sanded properly. So let's get this thing washed up and get it back in and start tearing it apart. Because as you can see, she is a dirty girl. Well, I guess I need to start with moving my truck. I really need to get this thing put back together. Yep. Manual SS Silverado. Yeah, I still gotta get rid of this. It's crazy. I've owned this truck longer than any other vehicle I've ever owned. I've had this truck almost 11 years. All right, so the car's clean. I think what I'm gonna start doing is to start getting the damaged panels off. And down here on this rocker panel, a piece actually come off, and last event, the trailer caught it, ripped it off, and I saved the piece. And last week, when I was putting the car back together, I actually took and put something behind it, put 2 self-tapping screws to hold it in place. And the carbon fiber side splitter is kind of holding it on too. So I think what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna try to put something back there and do some fiberglass work, something I've never done. And yeah, if I'm gonna be tearing this thing up, I'm gonna have to learn to fix it. Mechanically, I can get it right. Body-wise, I can buy parts and bolt them on, but I can't do body work. So we're gonna jump in and try to do that. That little chunk right there got ripped off. You can see the self-tapping screw. There's really nothing below it I could have screwed to. That just kind of filled it in where it doesn't look completely out of place. So I think I'm gonna go ahead, I bought a bunch of fiberglass stuff to try to fix that. So I think that's like my big task, get that fixed. Because when I get the car wrapped, I don't want, it needs to be fixed. So actually, you can see this big ugly hole. The way the bumper goes on the car, it has to go up over a bar and then drop down. This hole was supposed to be very slim. But I think what I'm gonna actually do, this thing's got damaged in the wreck. And before I got it powder coated, I wanted to cut it off, but I forgot. So I think I'm just gonna get rid of the tow hook altogether. Just whack it off. Pains me to kill the powder coat, but I don't want this ugly hole in the bumper because that's terrible. So when I was at the event, I'll drop a clip here where I pulled the bar out with my winch. Yeah, this was pushed in. I got to replace this oil cooler too. See, it kind of bent that fitting. but it actually had oil cooler and the hoses pushed into this. You see that bent a little bit. But where he caught me was like right in here. You can kind of see where I kind of went under his car. Bent the tow hook up this way, but you can see right here where I hit him. If the bar wouldn't have been there, I would have got into the whole headlight structure. And this thing, all this is held on with is a little thin bracket, and all this is fiberglass glued to the actual frame over here. So you can just imagine if that bar wouldn't have been there, I would have got into all of this. And it would have been way worse than this. So I'm very thankful for the True Focus Fab bash bar. All right, so I just tried fitting these fenders up. They're made of fiberglass. On the website, I think I found where the guy bought these from, because I got these from Facebook Marketplace, and they say they need work to get to fit properly, or whatever that means. And you can see that's supposed to be a nice curve for the headlight. So that would have to be cleaned up. After the guy dropped them off and I started looking closer and I seen that, I was like, oh God, what did I buy? So yeah, I'm thinking, I'm not a fiberglass person, and I do not have the time to make these fit. And the bottoms of these are very, very thin, like paper thin, like, yeah. So I think, and I don't like these anyway. I do not like the ZR1 style fender at all. So I think I'm gonna, my passenger side here is still fine. I can get a used driver's side for around $350 from Vet Pros, where I buy a lot of my used parts from. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Those fenders fit really good, obviously. So these are getting put on Facebook Marketplace again. So yeah, those fenders are a no-go. I have no time or patience to even deal with that. 5 minutes of trying to fit these things on, like I broke the grinder out and I started grinding some spots where I seen it was hitting. Yeah, that's not for me at all. So I guess the next order of business will be fixing this piece. Those self-tappers, and I don't even remember what I put behind it. A little sheet of aluminum. I just laid a piece of aluminum behind it, screwed it to the good part of the rocker, and that part, it held up. I mean, it's solid. So I think what I'm gonna do now is I got some like wooden paint paddles that I'm gonna lay back here and glue in, hold the piece in exact, because it's a little far down on this corner. So I wanna get it in place, maybe glue it in, and then sand the backside, put some fiberglass resin down, put some matte, let that dry. Try to build it up on the backside where it's strong, and then come back with some fiberglass putty, body filler, whatever, and just try to make something of this. So here's what we got. Definitely not perfect. That's just one layer on this side just to kind of mark it, sand it smooth. Backside's got about 4 layers on the back. I've done a couple coats of resin, laid the mat in, brushed some more resin on, and I mean, it's pretty solid. It wiggles as one piece again. So I'll be able to cut this little bit of mess off and sand it smooth, and I think we'll call it good enough. You know, it's not gonna be perfect, it's a drift car, so yeah, I'm kind of excited to see what it turns out like once I sand it. It's pretty hard stuff. So I just got done putting some fiberglass body filler, kind of fill in all the little imperfections. So I think once that's sanded down smooth, we'll be able to prime it, and I think we'll be good. So for the time being, while that dries, I'm gonna go ahead and pull the quarters and rear bumper off. If we're gonna get it wrapped, we might as well go ahead and take care of stuff like that. So I got a whole nother parts car. We'll take the quarters. This quarter's fine still, but it's a little, it can be used again if I break one. I'd rather just go ahead and use the whole rear section off the other car that's in really good shape. Like, got a little spot down here. There's like some spider cracking, like right there. Still good if I need to use it, but I'm just gonna go ahead and change the whole rear end. All right, so that took entirely way too long. You can see at the bottom where it's still missing a little bit, but that's at the very bottom. I got side skirts that's gonna cover that, but I'm pretty happy with that. It's nice and strong again. one piece. So I think I'll wet sand that, just kind of make it smooth. And I think it'll be okay to get wrapped. You can see the dirt line where the side skirts go, the carbon fiber ones that I had on it. So yeah, we're good. So now I don't have to worry about taking that rocker off. Like I said, these things are cheap from Vet Pros. I mean, $250 for a whole rocker, but the pain of changing it is just crazy. Like the other side's self-tapped on, it's easy to change. This one's still glued on. So now we just need to get the quarters off my silver car, rear bumper, and I think we'll be set to get it wrapped. All right, so now that we got the silver body panels off my other parts car, you know, I can kind of get this thing wrapped up, get it close enough to where it can be wrapped. There's a few spots I need to sand out, get smooth. The rear silver bumper has some clear coat peeling, so I need to take care of that so the wrap will stick to it properly. But I think we're gonna end it off here. You know, these body panels, a little gross, but other than the rear bumper having a little bit of paint peeling, like the clear coat, these panels are in really good shape. No cracks, no damage. You see there, bumper's a little, paint's, I think this panel was resprayed at one point. And yeah. But we got about a month to go, and I hope the wrap shop can get me in and get this thing dialed in for me. Or it's gonna go to the first round looking pretty ugly. But I appreciate you watching, and we'll see you in the next one.